Powerful, reliable, and long-lasting, Battleborn Batteries is helping RVers, boondockers, and overlanders like you power your lifestyle.
So, hi, I am Trevor.
I'm Leah. We're Llama Llama Adventure. We have been RV dwelling for 3 years, but traveling full-time for 2.
Hello, I'm Jen.
I'm Mary.
And we are Stairs Up Handlin'. We are full-time RVers.
Okay, well, hi, everybody. My name is Maureen Wright, and my partner in life, love, and crime and all good things is Rob Strobridge. We are known as the Stromads.
We live in a travel trailer. We have a Grand Design Imagine, and we've been full-time RVing for, we're going into our
Just started our third year
now. Yeah.
We have been on the road full-time for 6 years. Currently, we're in a 2018 Renegade Verona LE LTS Super C, and we have super enjoyed that. We started out in a 52-foot race car hauler with 14 feet of quarters up front, and that was a little tight, but it really broke us into the lifestyle, and now we are just super satisfied with where we are.
Prior to that, though, we had been most time travelers, living in hotels and Airbnbs, and sometimes a rest stop in our dually pickup truck. So we've been on the road for a long time.
Oh, we're in a Keystone fifth wheel. It's a mid-bunk. There's 3 of us, 2 adults, and then 1 child. She's 4.5, and 2 dogs.
Before we decided to become full-time RVers, and some advice, I guess, that I would share, I think the most important thing for us was our why, like why we decided to become full-time RVers. And really, essentially, that's because, first of all, we were young parents. And so we found ourselves in a situation where, all of our kids have moved out and we're in this house hanging out by ourselves. And we wanted to downsize before any one of them could decide to move back in. So all joking aside, though, we experienced some loss in our family, sort of unexpected and early. And that combined with the fact that we're like those kind of vacation people that will get somewhere and be like, I think I could live here. Right?
Yes.
Where was the one place that we came back from?
I mean, most places, but
yeah. Key West for sure.
Key West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time coming home from Key West where like we could sell everything and just live in a hut, and enjoy tourist life because that's what we really liked.
Rob and I both had 9-to-5 jobs for a long time and actually they were probably more like 8 to 7 jobs in an office for a long time. So we've been in the corporate world, we've been in the nonprofit world, and then we went into the self-employment world. So we're familiar with all of those aspects. What advice would I give somebody? My advice would, don't wait, but proceed with caution, and maybe actually talk to somebody that has had a similar path.
The thing that got us started was we were originally looking at van life, like those super cool converted camping vans. The one thing we knew was that we wanted to travel more and get out more, and that's one of the things we were looking at as an option to do that. But then Leah was researching that, and we kind of started looking at what that would actually take, and the price tag
Sticker shock.
yeah, was way more than we wanted to spend. Like those vans they're a lot of money. And then we'd still have to have a house. So it was just not feasible. And that's when Leah stumbled on full-time RV living as kind of an alternative to that, which we had never really encountered before.
We had never thought about that as a possibility. We didn't realize that there was a community of people doing that.
First, understanding like what your why is, and then matching your RV life to fit the purpose that you're looking to fill. I don't think that we would have felt fulfilled if we were stationary RVers forever. The time that we had was great, but we didn't want to do that forever. Like, what inspires us and fulfills us is truly going to new places and exploring different locations, right? And then even with that, for me, so we're quite opposite. I'm very outdoorsy. You're always, I mean, he hiked 2 high peaks yesterday while I worked. And he's very outdoorsy. And so, you know, some people will say, I'm going to go on this RV trip and I want to visit every national park. And yeah, I like national parks too, but really we're looking for, you know, little cities, you know, with unique shops and hole in the wall bars and pop culture stuff. Like, hey, if there's a movie that was filmed there or something fun like that, those are the types of things that I enjoy looking for and visiting. And then you're looking for, you know, mountains and hiking and trails and things like that. So I would say making sure that you're sort of thinking about what you truly enjoy and don't get caught up in what you think RV life should be. It's really easy to watch all these, you know, other RVers who are boondocking in the most beautiful places, you know, on beaches or in these insane mountains. And sometimes you can get a little like, oh man, I wish I was doing that. And then you think, I stop and think, I wouldn't actually enjoy that. I'm not a boondocking kind of person. And I don't know that I want my, you know, RV to be out here and, you know, with nothing around us and stuff like that. So you just got to kind of stay your course and do the things that you truly enjoy and seek those out, I think.
The other part is plan. It probably, from when we really made the decision, probably took us about 1.5 years until we actually implemented, because we had a plan. We, you know, obviously we had to get rid of the house. We had some other things that we needed to put in order and do that. But the first part is, you know, really defining, why do you want to do this? And we knew our why. And that's the hardest part, because once you get that why defined, then all the rest of it are just exercises. They're just routines. And your why is what will keep you on the road when things go wrong or when your planning process is delayed. If you know your why, you're going through and you're going to be successful.
Well, I think one of the things that Stuart just asked, though, is somebody wanting to leave their 9-to-5 job. That's a whole different, I mean, you can still have, especially in this day and age, you can still have your 9-to-5 job in a remote location. You don't necessarily have to work in the home. So you would have to find out, first off, can my job transfer me? Do I have to live in the area that I am? Or can I
start something new?
Yeah, start something new. There's the opportunities are endless for somebody that wants to really learn, once that feels like maybe they have that entrepreneurial spirit and is a go-getter. It's definitely not for the lazy.
And so it was pretty quick after that. Leah started researching it, and like by the end of that month,
it was actually the end of that week, we already knew that we were going to be doing full-time RV life.
Yeah, but our lease, we were renting at the time, and our lease was up at the end of that month. So by that time, we had already decided not to renew, and we traded in our Mini Cooper and Mazda CX-5 crossover for a Dodge Ram 3500,
which was quite the transition from the Mini Cooper.
And the first truck either one of us had owned,
driven.
And we bought our RV and moved
the following week
out of our apartment.
Yeah. So it's a 36-foot fifth wheel. Neither of us had driven a truck, towed, etc. So obviously we knew that we wanted to practice this lifestyle, because those things alone are a huge difference from the life that we lived before. We did tiny living in Portland, Oregon for many years. We were living in tiny apartments, 300, 600 square feet. So we were very accustomed to living tiny. We weren't accustomed to driving giant. So that was one of the things that we knew that we wanted to adjust to before we started traveling to, all of the 50 states, towing this, what we consider a massive home. So we stayed a year stationary in Idaho, which is where we were living at the time. And it was a really great transition. Although we did experience an Idaho summer and an Idaho winter, which are pretty extreme in some cases. Mm-hmm. We had single-digit lows and triple-digit highs, and we experienced failures like a air conditioner and a furnace during those highs and lows. So we were really grateful for the choice that we had made to become stationary first, because it allowed us to feel comfortable during that learning process versus being on the road, trying to figure out RV maintenance, RV repair and those kinds of things in an area that we're already unfamiliar with.
Yep.
In deciding whether you want to go full time, whether you can really live in, 20 feet of space or, 34 feet of space, or at one point it was 12 feet of space for us. Rob and I spent, prior to moving into our race car trailer, we had already spent 15 good years in a hotel room. And we spent probably the first 8 or 10 years in a hotel room with our two boys. So we already knew each other's lifestyle habits, our work habits. We already understood that. So we always tell people, hey, go rent the smallest room you can find. An RV is expensive to rent. So go rent, a Red Roof or a Days Inn or something like that. Not a fancy hotel, something without any amenities, and go someplace that doesn't have a lot happening and see what that space is really like in that hotel. That hotel room really is probably going to have more space than your rig, unless of course, you can buy something that is huge. And at that point, that doesn't even matter.
Yeah, that's a really good idea though. And the rental. And that's one of the things that we put a whole module in our, how to select your perfect RV. And that really is going to be part of it. And we did all of those things. Obviously we had done a lot of it prior, but we did rent a small camper for a weekend, and we learned a lot with that. Then we went with, the less expensive RV for a year and a half, just to really, again, before we ended up spending a lot of money, we really wanted to make sure that it was for us. I mean, it was actually to the point where we were getting ready to sign the paperwork on the Super C that we're in now. And we decided, no, let's wait. Let's really make sure this is the lifestyle for us. So we waited, we bought a rig, we learned a lot with that rig, and then we moved into what we want. And we've never looked back with that in 4 years. It's not like, oh, we should have bought this or we should have done that, because we did take the time and experience all those things in, checking out, was this lifestyle for us?
Yep, we definitely went, this is it, let's get it. Yeah. We did not rent, which is another thing that we do recommend people do.
Yeah, I do think that's good advice typically. I think we really lucked out. We really love our floor plan, and even now, 3 years later, after seeing a whole bunch of different RVs, this is still the one we would have. But I know that doesn't work out that way for a lot of people. A lot of times,
the best group of people you'll ever find.
Absolutely refuse to grow old. It's having a place, an umbrella, a tent that we can all come together.
So many caring and sharing friends.
And you can count on them anywhere in the country to have a good time.
Ditto.
I like scabies.
Once we decided to go full time, obviously you need to think about, what do we do with our house? What do we do with our cars? And I joked about locking the kids out, but in reality, we turned around and rented our house to our son. So, we haven't made the decision to sell our house quite yet. We're ready to, but this kind of situation has really worked out where we are able to have our address in Florida. We've got somewhere that all of our mail can go. Our house is being cared for. And then our son has somewhere pretty cool to live as well. So it's kind of a win-win for all of us. I know it's not that easy for everyone. So really thinking about what to do with your house is such a huge decision. And then, with the cars, I mentioned we stored one car and ended up selling it after a year, but those are definitely some things to consider for sure.
We ask each other, what does this actually look like for you? My idea of vacation is a lot different than Rob's. And, we have to have a meeting of the minds and decide, wait a minute, does this really look like what we're thinking? And you find out that sometimes it's just not. And if you don't do that work, just have that conversation, then that is a recipe for disaster.
It is. You really have to be on the same page. And, we were lucky. We didn't move into the RV lifestyle until after our kids were out of the house. But if you've got kids, that's a whole nother factor that you really need to have a discussion with, and you really need to experience and have them experience and know how that's going to work. Communication is critical because it's all close communication now. This is where we spend our time 18 hours a day, and then we sleep, and it's even closer, so that's what we do. And it really takes that open communication to do that.
One of the things to consider when you're going to buy your rig and you're going shopping is absolutely have a written out list of these are items that I cannot live without. If you are the type of person that absolutely needs to have your own washer and dryer in your rig, that better be on your list. We were not those people. We did not need multiple slides. And the reason that we didn't want multiple slides is because multiple slides requires more maintenance and has more possibility for things to go wrong. So when we made our purchase of our rig, we had a budget in mind that we weren't willing to cross. We had a weight limit in mind that we weren't willing to cross. And we had a length of rig, which we weren't willing to cross. We also had little things like we must have a bedroom door on our room so that guests feel comfortable when they come to visit. And our daughter must have her own private space also with a door. That was pretty much the basis of our list. It sounds really minimal, but those were our top priorities. Some people are going to want more things like, a large bedroom space to have an office in. We didn't need that. So we only have 2 slide outs in our living kitchen area. Some people want their children, or if they have multiple children, to have a slide out in their room so that it's larger. These are all things before you go shopping that you're gonna budget for, because each little thing like that adds up. Same with things like stabilizer jacks, auto leveling, all of those kinds of little add-ons, add-on money. And for us, one of the biggest parts of doing this was the financial freedom that one day we will be debt free. And if we added all those little things on, there would be a cost associated with them. So we thought to ourselves, what are we comfortable living with and what are we comfortable living without?
Yep.
We moved pretty quick. We would only spend 4 or 5 days somewhere and we were on to the next. We did the big 5 in probably less than 10 days because we were en route to somewhere. And with that, we got that what do they call it, travel fatigue, that you're just you don't want to see another waterfall, you don't want to do another hike, you don't You know, you don't care what color the canyon walls are. You know, if you don't want to watch sunset, all you want to do is just sit and chill and veg and realize that, you know, it's okay. You don't have to see everything today, maybe. You know, unless you're not coming back there, I don't know. And that's what happened, I think, with us. And this past winter, we came in to our, whatever you want to call it, our home base, and we ended up staying for 4 months, which is totally not our MO anywhere. It was the longest we have ever stayed anywhere, including living in our home. We were never home for 4 months straight. And we stayed in the same RV park for 4 months. And it was really nice. It really gave us that rest and that we needed.
And as much as I joke about the fact that, you know, once the kids moved out, we locked the door and changed the locks, actually. You know, we love to be able to spend time with our kids. And then we even had a tough decision, you know, in our first year of RV life. Our oldest daughter found out she was expecting, and it was a surprise to us at first because our kids weren't really the kind of kids that we expected to have grandkids from. They really, you know, it just kind of came out of left field, and we were so excited and so happy. But then all of a sudden we're like, we just left her in Florida. Now we're living this full-time RV life. But yeah, so that's something that you just really need to consider is the impact on your family. That's definitely something that you want to consider, is the impact on your family. But in our case, it really worked out for the best, because you said, like, after we left Florida, our daughter moved to Virginia. Our other daughter moved to Virginia, and our son's in Florida. So it really works out for us that we can travel up and down the East Coast and visit most of our family and definitely our kids. So, yeah.
Full-time life is not camping every day. There are travel days. There are maintenance days. There are breakdown days. There are rainy days, weather days, wind, tornadoes, hailstorms, all of these potential perils that I don't think anybody really wants to expect or think that reality is there. And it's really preparing for that and understanding that every day is not a holiday. You know, prior to Maureen coming on the road with me, when we first had our business, I'd be out and, you know, just sweating, standing on my head, you know, doing all this stuff. And Maureen thinks I'm on vacation every day while I'm out here working in an event. It's an illusion.
Well, you were in Florida. So.
But it was an illusion. And I think a lot of times we create those illusions without really understanding what the backside is to it. You know, the first thing the RV salesman is not going to say to you is, hey, you've got to empty your black tank. You know, I understand that, you know, and that's it's a real deal.
Yeah, so we have a website. Trevor's fully designed it. It's llamalamaadventure.com. And then we also post on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Instagram is where I'm most active. I love chatting with people in DMs, especially people who are looking to get on the road. It's something that I've experienced. I know the excitement, and I like feeling that, you know, bubbly excitement with people. So when people share with me or ask questions, it makes me feel really good. So I love welcoming people to the RV space. And Trevor makes posts on our llamalamaadventure.com as well. We share a lot about our hikes. We share a lot about our eating. We are definite foodies, but we're also vegan. So we share a lot of different alternatives to eating and eating while traveling. And we just try to keep things exciting. So,
yep. Thanks for joining us for this session of Full-Time Freedom Week. Be sure to check out the schedule and find out when our next session is. We've got 25 different sessions spread out over 4 days. A fantastic opportunity to learn everything you need to know about how to live full-time on the road from your RV. On behalf of everyone here at RV Dreaming and Full-Time Freedom Week, Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.